There's Emersen Jennings, who has been a pest for teams this season. And we are underway here in Louisville, Kentucky from Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium. Nick Zanetti, Kayla Dickerman, excited to bring you this one. Virginia Tech working in the midfield. And Lizzie Sexton gets it back to the trusted Louisville goalkeeper, and Aaron Floyd. We were just talking about the clean sheets that she has produced so far this season, looking to keep it going here today against a formidable ACC opponent in Virginia Tech.
And we talked briefly about the standings. You can see Louisville and Virginia Tech are both on the second half of the ACC standings, but in a way that gives them an opportunity to truly test and see what this opponent's going to bring to them. The first games that they've had this season have been against difficult ACC teams, so this feels like a true test to see how they can perform within the rest of the ACC conference.
A test indeed for both of these squads, hungry for that first ACC victory. Hargrove is going to boot it away into the midfield. Picked up by Sexton. She hits the deck after some contact from Anna Weir.
Anna Weir and Taylor Price are adding a lot of pressure already on the Louisville back line, something that they're probably not super used to still, with only playing a tough Florida State team and having had relatively considerable wins in their home games previously.
Sexton chases after it. Virginia Tech looking to develop their offense early. We've seen Louisville so much this season kind of take the wind out of the sails of their opponents by scoring early, finding the back of the net in the first couple of minutes. We'll see if Louisville can develop something of a similar offense here today.
And we've talked again at length about Louisville's offensive production, but last season, at the end of the season, Mackenzie Geigley had the season total high in points at 17. So far, a little over halfway through the season, Amelia Swinarski has 21 points total. So even in just 1 year, you've seen the production really take strides in the positive angle.
Impressive. It doesn't do it justice, the point production from everyone on this team, but you mentioned Swinarski, and it's just so difficult to overlook the impact that she's made, whether she's finding the back of the net herself or creating opportunities. It seems like she sees lanes that not everyone sees out there, Kayla.
And that's what you want as a midfielder. You want someone who's got the vision to see not only what's happening on the field, but what could happen based on a certain play or pass. So Swinarski already creating those opportunities a couple of times in this game, but even more so in the previous games is a positive thing for the Cards.
Back for Floyd. We'll slow it down. Cherry gets it back for Hadley Snyder. And now up for Sexton. Sexton, a good move to keep the ball away. Gets it all the way back now for Grace Maddox, who finds Liza Sudam. And now here comes Louisville looking for their first true attack. A ball sent through, looking for Jennings maybe, but Hargrove is there to erase the opportunity. Sudam and Jennings assuming their positions, applying that pressure. We've seen them do it so much this season. Ball picked up by Swinarski now. A potential opportunity. Swinarski making good run. A strike on net, and it sails just over the crossbar, but a good strike off of the boot of Swinarski. And Virginia Tech head coach Charles Adair in his 15th season as the Virginia Tech head coach, a record of 173, 92, and 32, coming off a very impressive Elite Eight run last season. He has brought back a lot of returners, and he is going to look to replicate the same season as last, this time with the intention to finish the job.
And it's going to be a hard job to finish, but Adair is not foreign to success, especially considering last year's.
And no stranger to winning at all. He's done such a good job at stringing together winning seasons, and you see here a potential cross opportunity from Jennings. Hargrove excellent play coming out, killing the opportunity.
Hargrove's going to have a tough task today if already early in the game she's experiencing a couple of shots in and around goal. That was a great diving save by her, and you can tell that she's making things happen. She's telling her team where to go. She's trying to make sure that the ball stays a little bit further away from her and hopefully in the attack for the Hokies.
We were just talking about Coach Adair for Virginia Tech leads the program with NCAA appearances with 10. The next highest, Kelly Cagle with 4. So he has done a tremendous job of seeing through the regular season and getting his team to postseason for potential success.
And we talk about the transfer portal with the student athletes, but there's a lot of movement within coaches too. Seeing a coach having 20 years at Virginia Tech, 15 with the head coach role is an impressive situation. And not all coaches, I mean, Louisville is another example of having a long tenured coach, but not all ACC programs have that experience at the helm.
Maddox for the throw-in. Gets it down into Louisville's attacking third. Jennings trying to get there, but Hargrove comes out. And Jennings applying the pressure that she loves to apply, making it hard on keepers and defenders. Louisville with a potential takeaway. Jennings comes up with it. Gets it back for Maddox. Maddox a little too much on that one, and it will roll out of bounds. You talked about long tenured coaches, and on the side of Virginia Tech, definitely a long tenured coach with Adair, but look no further than Karen Ferguson Days in her 26th season. Yes, 26th season as the Louisville head coach. I mean, a track record that speaks for itself, Kayla.
And you can't deny the fact that this coach has created a personality within the team. You see it with the goal scoring and the high press, and it's been exciting to see how she transforms each player and each year that she has a new roster into being the type of soccer players and this type of team that you can always see is the Louisville way.
We got to speak to Coach Ferguson Days after a match a couple of weeks ago, and she gave a quote that has stuck with me ever since I heard her say it. There's no better motivator than depth, and having depth on that bench is the best way to motivate these players. They understand that no role is safe, no spot in any starting lineup is safe. If someone steps up in practice, well, they might earn themselves a spot or more minutes.
And that's what you want as a team, is to be able to have that depth and competition. While you're a student athlete and there's a lot of other pressures, it might be another added difficulty to manage through, is having someone, always knocking on the door. But also when you're competing on a team that's trying to have a lot of success, many players should welcome that, because you know that if someone in the starting lineup might be injured, that another player can step right up and get the job done. And that's a hard thing to have happen, but Louisville so far this season is proving that they can do that.
Iron sharpening iron, if you will. These players making each other better. Virginia Tech looking for an opportunity, a close opportunity a couple of moments ago, but now they're right back on the attack. A ball that will roll out of bounds, a potential cross opportunity, but Louisville shuts it down.
And you can tell Louisville drops behind the ball quick. In that moment, Virginia Tech maybe had 3 or 4 players, and Louisville had about 6 behind the ball. So Virginia Tech's going to need a couple of more numbers, maybe in this corner, if they're going to try and get a goal.
It's Hannah Patchen for the corner for the Hokies. See if she can get something going. Ball sent into the box, looking for a header opportunity. It's Louisville shutting it down. But Virginia Tech maintains in possession. A strike that sails high. Aaron Floyd thought about going up for it, but it sails over the bar.
And on that corner, that's a great in-swinging ball from Hannah Patchen. A tough ball for Louisville to head out, but Carson Cherry didn't have a Hokie around her, so she was able to head that ball out. A difficult header, though, into the center of the area, and then Ellie Robertson was able to get a shot. That was a little bit lower. That could have been a difficult ball for Aaron Floyd to try and save.
Ball sent up, intended for Lizzie Sexton. Headed away by Virginia Tech's Julia Tepes. Sexton for the throw-in, looking for Jennings. Jennings comes up with it. Tepes playing good defense, comes up with it herself, and it's a takeaway for the Hokies. Natalie Mitchell had it. Found Weir, and now Mackenzie Geigley, ever so dangerous with the ball on her foot. Almost as if there's a string on her foot with the ball. She is so elusive and so good at creating for herself.
And that play right before, she was able to come in, defend, win the ball in an advantageous position in the center of the field. Not always is the case that the opponent's defenders are aware that there's a winger that's ready to win the ball. So that was good work from Mackenzie Geigley.
Sexton with the ball sent in. Maybe looking for a redirect, a header, anything. Trying to make it hard on Hargrove. Both these teams doing a good job so far of applying whatever pressure they can to the opposing keeper. I think it's a good thing when you can get some shots on goal early and make the keepers work.
And it seems that Lauren Hargrove so far has been prepared for it. It feels as if she's been communicating well with her center backs, Kylie Marshall and Maddie Buteau, which is going to be important in this game. In that cross beforehand, Liza Sudam was right on Buteau and potentially could have gotten a touch if she was a little bit earlier, but Lauren Hargrove came out, had the ball easily, and that comes sometimes with good communication.
Tepes gets it back to Hargrove. Train going by and a plane flying over. A little bit of side action here in Louisville. Swinarski named ACC Co-Offensive Player of the Week after excellent matches against Kent State and Dayton. She's looking to bring that same impact here against the Hokies. Co-ACC Player of the Week, tied for the lead in the nation with 21 points. You were just talking about last season how Geigley had 17 points to lead the team. Swinarski already with 21. I mean, it's no surprise she's named ACC Co-Offensive Player of the Week, but you really got to watch her play just to see how much of an impact she makes. It is tremendous the things that she accomplishes on the pitch.
You can't deny Swinarski's quality. What's exciting to see as a player is that she is the point leader, she's the assist leader, and she's also tied with Mackenzie Geigley as the goal leader. Oftentimes, if you see a midfielder, they might be the leader in one of those categories. But for Swinarski, having the most assists on the team as well as tied for the most goals is impressive, and it makes sense to want to give her the ball as often as you can.
Oftentimes, we've seen her create something out of what looked like nothing. She is so good at, like we said, finding those lanes, finding those through balls, recognizing when her teammates are making run, and she's going to look to get it going and find anything she can. Again, she can make something out of nothing, so she is one to keep an eye on. Geigley applying pressure and works out, gets the throw in, moving quickly is Louisville. Liza Sudam leaves it for Geigley. Geigley with ball sent into the box, looking for Swinarski. Unable to convert is Louisville. Ball was sent in a little deep. Sexton had it, got it over to Huckabee. Back for Huckabee. Good ball movement here from the Cardinals. Good one-touch pass from Sudam, but Virginia Tech takes exception, shuts it down.
Good quality play there by the Cardinals and good defense by the Hokies. Both teams there doing their jobs. The Cardinals trying to split some passes, create some movement in the middle of the box, but the Hokies doing well to be ready and reading it and making sure that it gets out.
Natalie Mitchell came up with it, drops it off, and now the Hokies on the attack. Ball sent in. A.G. Gibson getting it away. Huckabee looked for a touch, couldn't get it. Picked up by Anna Weir. Sends it along the side. Hokies looking for an attack. High arcing ball sent into the box. Louisville there to shut it down. Ella Valente for the Hokies trying to make something happen. Liza Sudam playing keep away. And a good job to keep it away. Now Lizzie Sexton comes up with it along the side. Hits the brakes and goes back to Hadley Snyder.
And you can hear Coach Ferguson Days yelling higher, wanting her attacking players to move forward, maybe not necessarily with the ball, but if there's a player up around the Virginia Tech back line, then it's going to be a better competition than if there isn't. And Coach Ferguson Days is wanting her attackers to take that space and get up there so that they can be an option on the attack.
Huckabee and May, a little contact there at midfield. Hargrove thought about a long booming kick, stays short, and now a ball sent deep into Louisville's end. So, Kayla, just over 15 minutes gone here in this first half. Seems like these teams are playing a little bit of a game of feel out, but also trying to take advantage of their opportunities where they see them. But what have you noticed mostly, and what could you expect for the rest of this half?
This game, we talked about it, how it was going to be a test for both teams, having played in their ACC home opener against really quality teams in the ACC, and then these two teams being a little bit more closer to each other in rankings and also maybe style. And so it's true that they're competing well against each other. Both teams are doing what they need to do defensively. Both teams have had some small chances offensively. The big thing that the winning team is going to likely want to have is not just maybe a little bit more possession, but being able to try to have a couple more opportunities on goal. I guess that's an easy thing to say, right? You have to shoot the ball in order to score the goal. But so far today, there's really only been one true shot on goal that Lauren Hargrove had to try and dive out to save. So each team is going to want to look at creating some more opportunities, even if it is a further shot or something that might not be super high percentage at the beginning. If they don't shoot, they don't score. So they're going to need to try and at least get a couple of shots off.
See if the Hokies can do just that here on the attack. It's Weir. Maddox applying pressure, trying to take away opportunities. Ball sent in deep, but just a little bit too much on it. Just looking for Tepes there for the Hokies, but it goes out.
That's an area that they're looking to create chances in, that big cross to the back post. Louisville so far has done well to mitigate that, but it only takes one slip up for someone like Anna Weir, Taylor Price, Ella Valente to be on that backside, and or even the defenders and Tepes and Robertson to try and create a header opportunity.
Nicole Jadoin looking on, waiting for her name to get called. It's a corner now for the Hokies. Ball is sent in on a line, bouncing around in front of the net. An opportunity for the Hokies, but Louisville there to shut it down. Almost a non-ideal start for Louisville there, as that one almost found its way past Floyd, but it remains at 0-0.
And that's why you want to have post players on the corner kicks who are around the front and back post, so they can try and be there if there ever is needed to have a goal line save.
Sudan with a ball sent through for Jennings. An opportunity now brewing for Louisville. But it looks like Jennings may have made a run a little bit too early. Some trouble on that corner.
Definitely great work from Lizzie Sexton, it looked like, to try and just bat that away. When you have too many players in there, chaos can happen, and for the Hokies, that's what they want. They want to try and get the ball bouncing in there and then maybe have one sort of touch, but the Cardinals did well to mitigate that.
And we've seen that from Louisville a lot, right? On corners and those second chance opportunities, the balls that kind of bounce around in the box a little bit, they can create trouble for keepers and other players trying to get a clear ball. But Louisville, so good at that, and you see Virginia Tech setting up for the same thing, looking for those second chance opportunities. Floyd gets it up for Cherry. Cherry with a ball sent in. Had a beautiful assist on an Emersen Jennings goal where Cherry sent it up from one side of the pitch all the way over to another. Jennings was able to receive it and put a tremendous strike on goal for an excellent goal.
And that's not the first time that Carson Cherry has created a goal-scoring opportunity for the Cardinals as a defender. That's what you want, is your defense, is that players that can look forward and that can create chances for those attackers.
Hokies working through midfield. Picked up by Ella Valente. Dropped off and sent in, and it'll get scooped up by Floyd. We get a whistle.
This is an advantageous location if you're Virginia Tech. Just like they've been working on having that cross to the back post, this area could be dangerous for that.
Looks like it'll be Hannah Patchen for the free kick for the Hokies. A couple of Hokies gather around the ball, talking strategy. You see Geigley and Jennings there. The two-player wall. Ball is sent in. And a nice, easy catch there for Erin Floyd, so nothing too crazy on the free kick from the Hokies.
Not a wrong idea to try and chip that, give it some air and loft so that the players can run onto it and head it in. Fortunately, it was just too close to Erin Floyd in the way that she could get out and catch that ball. But there were a couple of Hokies running on that backside there. If it was a little bit further away and Erin Floyd had to make that decision, it might have been a more dangerous opportunity.
Looked like Kylie Marshall for the Hokies, who was trying to run on the back right side. Maybe catch Erin Floyd unexpectedly. Now Hadley Snyder will get it back for Erin Floyd. 3 fouls committed by each of these teams so far. 2 corners so far for Virginia Tech. Anna Weir hits the deck, looking for a whistle. She doesn't get it. Play resumes. Sexton there took some contact, went down, and once again play resumes. So a little physicality starting to brew here, Kayla, and you know you got to win the physical battle.
And it's going to take potentially something a little bit more intense for the referee to call it seems. He's letting the play happen, some physicality happen, and that's also just the case with the ACC. You need to be ready to compete against tougher opponents, stronger opponents, maybe faster as well. And if you can't win the physical battle, then that's already going to put you in a harder spot to try and compete and win against another team.
With the ACC being so full of talent like we talked about in the open, it's going to be, like you said, the factors are going to be enhanced, if you will, the physicality, the mental toughness, everything that is expected and required to win a set of 90 minutes. It's all enhanced when you run into your conference opponents like Virginia Tech.
And both teams are going to play stalwarts in the ACC. Virginia Tech already facing North Carolina, but then in the future facing Wake Forest, Virginia, Stanford, Duke, Notre Dame. These are teams that are in the top 10, top 20, and they're great teams. So they need to be prepared for that. And Louisville on the other side, having already played Florida State, they'll play Notre Dame, Wake Forest, and Virginia as well. Not to say that any of these ACC teams that I didn't mention aren't going to be equally as difficult, but those are the teams that you see being posted about and being top 10, and both of these teams are going to need to be prepared for that.
A couple of fresh legs in now for the Cards. Taylor Morris in the match now for Louisville, as is Karina Pete. Pete in the game now for Emersen Jennings. Nicole Jadoin also in the game now. So Ferguson Days going to her bench. You see Karina Pete there. Freshman midfielder out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Booming kick into the midfield off of the boot of Hargrove. Weir is there for it. Maddox applying pressure.
And these are the types of games where there's a silver lining in being a sub. You don't always get to start or maybe play as much, but you get to see things that your teammates didn't necessarily get to see at the beginning. For example, both Jadoin and Pete being the two strikers, they had the chance to see Sudam and Jennings have success with that high press. But when we were talking about the physical battle, there were times where they weren't necessarily there to try and win that. So these two players can come in and maybe think physicality first and find more opportunities to beat the Hokies that way.
Alluding to the depth we talked about earlier, it's so important for subs, like you mentioned, to pay attention to the style of the game and the trends, if you will, of what's getting called, maybe what's not getting called, or what's working for your squad. It's so important to come in and replicate what your coach needs you to do.
Definitely, and for the Hokie side, maybe not having subbed in yet, they might be feeling as if they've been able to find some success passing the ball around the back like you just saw, and now creating a chance in the attack.
Here come the Hokies. A good shutdown defensive play by Cherry. Took it away from Anna Weir, who was making tremendous run. She had Natalie Mitchell with her on the right, but Carson Cherry, the captain of this squad, showing why right there.
A great strong dribble by Weir, getting into the box, trying to decide if she wanted to pass or shoot. Carson Cherry did well to keep her feet, be ready for either option, and then get that final poke out of the danger zone.
Grace Maddox now for Louisville. Throws it in, finds the ACC co-offensive player of the week in Swinarski, and now up for A.G. Gibson. Drops it off, looking for Jadoin. Jadoin unable to get there, and now a foot race. Hargrove smartly coming out, sending it away, not giving Jadoin any daylight. Gibson now swarmed by two Hokies, gets it back to Snyder. An impressive pass as she was going down. Louisville slowing it down. Trying to read this Hokies defense, not giving them anything so far. Louisville yet to record a shot on goal. A.G. Gibson. Sexton. Finds Snyder. Goes up for Gibson, gets redirected, and now Hargrove will be able to reset for her team.
Hargrove's doing really well in that goalkeeper spot to be comfortable to come out towards the edge of the box, even outside of the box in that previous clear. You need that when the ball's coming in your direction and you can be the one to stop the play or be able to guide it to the right teammate, and Hargrove's doing really well at that.
Hokies trying to break out. Louisville applying that high pressure. Both players looking for the ball. Swinarski swarmed by Hokies. Goes out of bounds. And now some fresh legs for the Hokies. And Louisville both going to their benches. In the match now for the Hokies, Siri Davis in for Peyton May. Taylor Lewin in for Anna Weir. And for the Louisville Cardinals, Emma Kate Schroll, number 26 on your screen there, in the match now. Snyder gets it back now for Cherry. Both these teams making it difficult on one another to get any type of offense rolling. Louisville looking for possession, unable to come up with it. Both teams trying to find possession, but the ball getting around, and now the Hokies have it. Samantha de Guzman trying to go to work one-on-one against an excellent defender in Sexton, and she wins that battle and comes up with it. Sexton sends it down, looking for maybe Nicole Jadoin, and Hargrove sends it back down. Back to Lizzie Sexton. Swinarski and Sexton making it hard for de Guzman.
De Guzman already being asked a lot, trying to make an attacking run and then also come back in order to defend the ball and bring it forward. That's what's asked of you when you are a sub. It's a difficult situation to just come in sometimes and be ready to play at that level. But like we said, the silver lining is that you know what to expect. And for example, Taylor Lewin on that wide side saw Anna Weir have a lot of success with the dribble. So she's trying to find the channel just like that and get the opportunity to maybe get that cross off for her teammates.
Ball sent in for the Hokies. Sexton there. Taps it away, and here comes Amelia Swinarski. Has Nicole Jadoin ahead of her. Good move there by Swinarski. Gets it up now for Nicole Jadoin. Jadoin trying to work through defenders, and maybe more of an opportunity there that was brewing. You saw a couple of Louisville players maybe calling for the ball, but Jadoin sends it into the box and creates an easy save.
And it did look like Taylor Morris's run was earlier than maybe Jadoin wanted. And the thing about that is that happens in soccer. That completely is fine, and sometimes the player on the ball makes the decision to keep it in order to find something else. The thing that Taylor Morris decided to do was really stop the run and then maybe wait rather than just try to recycle. And sometimes in this game, you need to, even if you stop, you could stay, could back up, backpedal to take space. There's different opportunities you can do rather than just stay stale. And in that situation for Taylor Morris, if she just moved a little, she might have been ready for that second pass that Jadoin wanted. You could still hear Coach Ferguson Days saying play earlier. Obviously, everybody wanted that ball to be played a little bit earlier. But if you're the player that isn't able to receive the ball early, what else can you do to try and receive the second pass?
Julia Tepes now for the throw-in for Virginia Tech. Looking for options. Swinarski got it to Gibson, who got it to Schroll and was looking for Karina Pete. Hokies send it up into the midfield, into the Louisville end, and Carson Cherry's there to receive, and she'll get it back to the keeper between the posts for the Cardinals, Aaron Floyd, and now up for Hadley Snyder. Sexton, good move by Lizzie Sexton, trying to create some space. Goes down after a little bit of contact, and it will be a whistle. And you like to see Louisville taking exception to the physicality, almost putting themselves in position to absorb contact.
Yeah, in that situation, Lizzie Sexton does a great move, takes basically two players on, and it's going to be an easy call for the referee when there's a situation when you have two opponents.
Fouls, as you saw there, Virginia Tech has committed 4 and Louisville has committed 3. Just over 30 minutes gone here at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium. Nixon Iddy, Kayla Dickerman. So we've talked a little bit about what we were going to expect for the rest of this first half. You see coaches talking up their players with Coach Adair on the Virginia Tech side and Ferguson Days on the side of Louisville. But you talked about the strength of this ACC conference, and when you look at all the teams and all the players, it's really, really impressive to see Louisville having players getting standout accolades. You think of Amelia Swinarski getting that co-ACC Offensive Player of the Week honor, and the rest of this graphic showing you just how much talent is in the ACC.
And the ACC has always been known as a really great soccer conference, and you can see that here. Louisville's not finally, but making a way into those ACC Player of the Week conversations, and that's a big positive for them looking forward.
Sets the tone, shows Louisville what they're capable of, and they're going to look to replicate that. Jadoin making some good moves, a potential ball sent through, nobody home for Louisville. But a good move and a good arching pass, by Jadoin. Louisville unable to convert.
Arguably a shot cross in that situation. Potentially could have chipped Hargrove, but also maybe could have gotten Morris on the backside there. The opportunity for that is endless when you have multiple chances, but Morris wasn't there, and it was a little wide for Hargrove too.
And you might look for Louisville to keep creating that same style, if you will, the crosses, getting in, making a move, trying to create space. And Louisville's been so sound on corners and crosses into the box, so you're going to look for them to replicate that, and you know eventually they'll convert.
And it's a tough task when you are positioned in a 4-4-2 playing against a 4-3-3, because that means that they have 4 defenders against your 2 attackers. But for Jadoin, Morris, the types of attackers that Louisville has, they're prepared to be able to make the run box to box, like you see now defending as well, in order to try and create chances.
Schroll comes up with it, sends it down. Had maybe Jadoin in her sights. Jadoin hanging around the midfield area, trying to create some trouble for the Hokies.
Taylor Lewin on the left side for the Hokies, has scored a goal in both of the last 2 games, which both as a sub. She hasn't started a game in a couple of matches, but that's a positive sign when you have a player that's able to come off the bench and produce, especially against a team like North Carolina.
Hey, we talked about the depth on the side of Louisville. Well, you know Coach Adair has plenty of that on his side with just such a talented team. We talked about last season what they were able to accomplish, bringing back so many returners and bringing in only one transfer in Eliana Salama. She's not with the team today, but last season at SMU, leading the team in points with 24, just such an impact maker. And you know the Virginia Tech Hokies are going to come out and do everything they can without her to still come out on top.
And depth even further back in the season. Last year, the Hokies had Allie George, who recently got drafted by Racing Louisville earlier in the 2025 season, is currently on loan with Fort Lauderdale United in the USL Super League. But regardless, it shows that the Hokies can create players and build players, and Adair is a big catalyst in that.
Speaking of depth, we just saw Hannah Patchen go off for the Hokies, and into the match now, Kendall D'Amelio. You see Patchen there getting a water break, talking things over with her coach, leading this team in points so far. She is taking some feedback there. It's the reason why she's such an impact maker, able to hear her coach, and she knows her day isn't finished. She's going to see more minutes in the second half, undoubtedly. So what is it like for an impact player like Patchen to come off with just under 10 minutes left in the first half? You're getting some feedback from your coach. What do you think Coach Adair is maybe saying to his star player as we approach halftime here, still in a deadlock?
It's not as if Patchen or the Hokies are performing bad by any means. They're creating some opportunities. They're making things happen. They're defending really strong and making sure that they can keep the ball in their defensive third. And those are all positives. If I were Coach Adair, I think I'd want to tell Hannah Patchen to try to find some more opportunities to get on the ball. It's one thing to be able to still possess, like what I just mentioned, but it's another thing to possess and then still be creative. And it feels as if Hannah Patchen has scored 4 goals and had 4 assists and is the point leader on the team, we should be able to talk about her a little bit more, either because her teammates are giving her the ball or because she's creating stuff on her own. So that's one of the things that I think if I was Coach Adair, I'd want to be able to tell her to try and look to do in the second half.
Kylie Pete in the match now for A.G. Gibson, twin sister of Corinna Pete, both freshmen. Kylie, the defender out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Fina Davey also in the match now for Louisville. De Guzman working for the Hokies. Got it over for Valente, who sends it over, and now a ball sent in. Little contact there. Natalie Mitchell for the Hokies, absorbing some contact. Schroll getting involved there. Foul was on Kylie Pete for Louisville. Just entered the match. Getting started physically, committing a foul there, getting herself involved, saying, hey, maybe, committed a foul, but get in the game and get your hands dirty.
Exactly. You don't want this to be a goal, but you definitely want to make sure that they know you're not going to be an easy opponent.
Virginia Tech went short there on the free kick. Ball being volleyed around. Still in the air. Hasn't touched the ground in a while. There it goes. Hokies in the midfield, sending it in. And right there, not much of an opportunity. You're kind of scattered in the midfield. The ball is kind of bouncing off heads and feet. And Virginia Tech looking like just getting a reset there, sending it into Floyd, saying, okay, we're just going to get set back on defense and try to respond. And some aggressive pressing there from Taylor Lewin. Almost spelled disaster for Louisville, but Floyd was able to control it.
And it may be that Taylor Lewin and the rest of the Hokie squad is seeing the success that the Cardinals are having pressing their own defenders. So they're trying to give them a little bit of that same action and see if they can force the Cardinals to make a mistake.
It was Sexton there, putting her body between defenders and the ball. She's so good at that, putting herself between defenders and the ball, making it hard for defenders, almost forcing them to commit fouls. Like, hey, if you want to get this ball from me, you're going to have to like throw your body at me. And she does a really good job of making it difficult for defenders. And a lot of times she can draw contact that can result in fouls.
And that's an incredible trait that you want all of your defenders. You'd prefer that if they are around the ball and they get possession of it, the opponent can only foul in order to win it. You want your players to be strong and ready to take on anything in the defensive third.
Vellante off now for the Hokies. Into the game now, Gabby Sioka and Lily Pantaleo. Some fresh legs for the Hokies. Here with just over 5 minutes to play. 0-0. Both teams looking to break the deadlock. Nixonity, Kayla Dickerman here at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn. Some Sunday afternoon ACC soccer. We hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Hope you're enjoying the action here today. Deep into the corner now. Jadoin, not much of an opportunity, tries to make something happen. So you see Jadoin there. Kind of like Emersen Jennings we talked about, just being a pest on the ball. And Louisville now applying a lot of pressure. They come up with it and a whistle stops the attack. But Louisville, that pressure we were just talking about, they are firing on all cylinders, trying to throw everything at these Virginia Tech Hokies.
And the pressure allows them to win that ball in the attacking third. Unfortunately, Karina Pete might have had a little bit of an extra hand or body into that foul, but it still shows that they can create the pressure, and then the second line, the defenders, are able to win it and attack with that.
Fouls even at 6 apiece for both of these teams, reflective of the physicality you've seen here in the first 45 minutes. 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Jadoin comes up with it, turns and looking for an opportunity. Might have one, gets the ball through, looking for Pete. Ball rolls in deep. And it does go out of bounds. Pete tried to keep it in, but a little too much on it from Jadoin. And the first corner of the day coming up for the Louisville Cardinals with 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. They've been so successful on corners, and I guess we could say now that Virginia Tech has been very successful keeping them off of the corners.
And the expectation is that they've scouted this and they're going to be man-marking players like Carson Cherry really strongly. Yep. So it may be a situation where Louisville's got to look for someone else in order to try and flick it in.
We'll see if they can. Ball is sent in. Lots of bodies crowd the box. Ball gets over everybody's head and it'll roll out of bounds. So Louisville unable to convert on their first corner. You know they're going to look for more of those and take advantage when they can.
And it's a tough ask to have the first corner for your team be 42 minutes into the half. You don't get a lot of opportunities if you only have 1 corner and a half to be able to make mistakes or have the ball maybe travel longer than intended. But also, because of that, you want to make sure that you try and prioritize everything you're doing on a corner so that when you do get it, which seems to be so far only 1 this half, that they can create and potentially get a goal.
Potential through ball there for Louisville, just a little too much, and Hargrove comes up with it. So under 2.5 to play, deadlocked at 0-0. What are the conversations at halftime going to be as both teams are going to come out, assuming that they go the next 2 minutes without a goal? What's the conversation like at halftime, tied 0-0, when you're still looking to draw first blood?
I think the Hokies will be looking at this. I think both teams will be looking at this with a little bit of a positive mindset. They've done well. They've mitigated many opportunities or some opportunities for the opponent, but there's still something missing. And if I were either coach, I would consider potentially changing the formation to try and offset what the other team is creating. You can tell that Louisville with the 4-4-2 has really great pressure when it comes to goal kicks that are short and things like that, but they're really only able to attack with 2 or 3 players at any given moment. And the Hokies are doing really well bringing their 4 back line to be able to stop any play. But then on the other side, the Hokies when they're attacking, even though they have 3, they're not really connecting with their midfielders. So they're not able to create anything that rather than just a big cross to one person in the box. So there's something to be said about potentially changing those formations to try and create more numbers into the box or more scoring and attacking opportunities.
Some potential shakeups in terms of formation. Something to keep an eye on as we wind down the final minute of this first half. Still 0-0. Both teams looking to find the back of the net for the first time today. Snyder. Louisville going to try and put something together here in the final seconds. Some contact there. A whistle stops the play. Time keeps ticking. Taylor Lewin went down for the Hokies. Gets up, running off some discomfort. Floyd settles it down.
And even with that long ball, the 4 Hokie defenders were behind the ball, and Siri Davis as the 6 or the deepest center midfielder was also behind the ball. So it's one of those things where you're going to really need to consider how you can bring up numbers in order to make an attack happen.
2 seconds, 1 second, and 0. That does it for the first half for some ACC soccer. Louisville set to get underway, and the second batch of 45 minutes is underway. So it'll be interesting to see what these teams come out of the half with. We talked a little bit about what you could expect from a coach to talk to their teams about when they find themselves tied 0-0 at halftime. Might have to shake some things up. We'll see what happens. Jadoin looking for a ball sent in to Geigley. Geigley unable to get it.
Jadoin starting the second half is maybe one of those personnel shakeups that we mentioned. Subbed in the second part of the first half and did really well, showed strong moments of physicality and ability to win the ball. Now seems that in the second half they're looking to use her to potentially create some opportunities.
She can create opportunities. She can shut down opportunities on both sides of the ball. Louisville going to have to shut down this one. They do so for the moment, but Virginia Tech staying in possession. Peyton May had it, and now Louisville's coming up with it. Saddam takes some contact, and that'll be a whistle. Saddam popped right back up. So tough. This entire Louisville team, full of tenacity, full of grit. Speaks to the depth we've talked about earlier. It goes further than just being able to step onto the pitch and fill in the role that you need to fill in, but being tough and being ready to be called on in any moment. You can hear the Virginia Tech coaching sideline yelling things out to their players, trying to orchestrate, conduct some offense. Ellie Robertson. And now Louisville comes up with it, looking for a potential attack. An excellent play on the ball by Virginia Tech's Natalie Mitchell, getting her foot right on the ball, not making any contact, and shutting down that attack. A.G. Gibson finds Maddox. Maddox up now for Jadoin, trying to make a good turn. Taken away, though. A good play by Ellie Robertson. Weir now trying to make something happen for the Hokies. And here comes Weir. Maddox with an excellent defensive stand, and play resumes.
Good dribble there by Weir, trying to create that attacking 1v1 against Maddox. Maddox was up for the task and was able to win that, but if Weir can pull out one more attacking dribble or move in that situation, she might have had a way to beat Maddox and would be on her own.
Was an excellent play by Maddox. Little fly over there. Swinarski was working with it, got it to Gibson, who lost it, got it back, and now finds was Hadley Snyder. The ball sent in now for Jadoin. An excellent pass. Jadoin looking for any opportunity, but good defense by the Hokies. A ball lays in front, and it's just off the top crossbar.
Great extra play there by Nicole Jadoin to get that final poke. her and Robertson were tough into that final barrier, that backside. And then Sudam able to try and get that shot, just hitting the post.
What a pass by Jadoin. As you mentioned, Robertson right on her hip, getting between Jadoin and the ball. It was a great play by Robertson, but Jadoin to even find Sudam there and for Sudam to put a strike on the net that just went off the crossbar. Good opportunity early for Louisville. Another strike that goes right at Hargrove. She'll erase that one.
And Mackenzie Geigley, we kind of alluded to wanting to get more shots off in general, test Hargrove in different ways. That's an example of maybe a shot you'd want back or be able to strike a little bit stronger, but still made Hargrove make a save.
Robertson makes an impressive run, looks for a strike. It's blocked by the Louisville defense. Mitchell sends a ball down, and it just gets out of bounds. So that will kill the rush for the Virginia Tech Hokies, but just over 4 minutes in this second half, it looks like a completely different game already, albeit it's early and teams might still be looking to shake up their formations or whatever play calling they're going with, but lots of aggression early here in the second half.
This is the type of play you're going to want to see in both teams, especially when we talk about their futures and the games that they have pending in the ACC. If they are in a situation where they're playing just to tie or not creating a ton of chances, then they're going to find the ACC is a tough conference to be in.
May taken away by Louisville, a strike on net by Geigley, and displays her frustration. Maybe not the shot that she wanted, but making Hargrove work. She holds herself to such a high standard. She is excellent in every way.
And these are good opportunities for Louisville. High pressure, was able to win that ball, get a pass up to Mackenzie Geigley for the chance to turn and shoot with a little bit stronger of a shot outside of the 18, which is what you're going to need to do if you're shooting outside of the 18. That could be a really challenging position for Hargrove to be in.
Swinarski trying to chase it down, absorbs a little contact. Ferguson Days pleading her case.
Maddie Buteau did well there to just make sure that the ball went out as a throw-in for her. Might not have been exactly a throw-in for her, but difficult spot for the referee to see when they don't get to see the inside of the foot there.
Swinarski has Geigley with her along with Sudam. Jadoin trying to join the action, but they'll go back to the midfield, start it over. Cherry points to Snyder as to say get it back up to the top, orchestrating her team. Maddox now. Patchen hits the deck. Battle of the fives between Maddox and Patchen. We talked about Patchen at the end of the first half as she came off, what her impact is going to look like as one of the premier players for this Hokie squad, and she's going to try to get something done for her team here in the second half.
And it feels like they're asking a lot of Patchen defensively.
Sudam with an opportunity, gets blocked away and picked up by Hargrove.
Patchen defensively is putting in a lot of work in order to try and mitigate any opportunities that the Cardinals have. Because of that, so far it seems difficult to try and get her into the attack. She is playing as a defensive midfielder in this lineup, but even still, sometimes you need those players to be in and around the box when you're attacking, and we haven't been able to see the Hokies really create an opportunity with many players in and around the box.
Well, the physicality aspect has not left this match. It is still a very physical game. We've seen a couple of players hit the deck already in this one. Nice give and go there by Louisville. Cherry trying to create an attack. Fouls 8 apiece. Both teams taking exception to the physical battle. Sudam chasing down that one. It will roll away. A little too much on that ball. And she will retreat as Hargrove gets it started now for the Hokies.
You can see Coach Ferguson Days saying, come on, guys, let's go. She wants a little bit more out of these Cardinals, whether it be intensity, connection of passes, both, probably.
Ball sent in. Louisville there to shut it down. And it rolls out of bounds. Stays with the Hokies. Trying to fire up her squad a little bit. Wonder what the halftime conversation was like. But you know, both of these coaches are going to try to light a fire under their teams any way possible to break this 0-0 tie. So here comes Louisville. Swinarski. A couple of Hokies flock to her. She comes up with it still. Sends it down, and now the Hokies come up with it.
And Virginia Tech's done really well when they win it out of the back to be able to possess it, connect it through their wide back players in Robertson and Marshall. And they've had opportunities, or Tepes rather, sorry, Robertson and Tepes. They've had opportunities to create that build because of their connection with their defenders. So it's a situation where the Cardinals don't necessarily want to lose the ball to the Hokie defenders because they are able to keep it and manage well with it.
Maddie Buteau. Got it up for Patchett. Now chasing it down is Anna Weir. Into the corner. Could be an opportunity for the Hokies. They don't have numbers. Weir waiting up. An excellent move. She hits the deck inside the box. And play resumes. And you can hear the displeasure from the Virginia Tech sideline. They thought there was a little bit more there.
Anna Weir does a fantastic job of dribbling. She's a strong dribbler for the Hokies. Looks to be that Maddox just has a little bit longer of a leg and poked it out. But Anna Weir making the case for that PK and trying to make the referee have to make a decision. When you're in and around the box, if nothing else, you want to make the referee feel like they have to make a decision. And it won't always go your way, but when you create a situation like that, it might.
Coaches calling out communications to their team. Maddox for the throw-in, trying to find anything. Tech shuts it down. And Carson Cherry had a difficult play there, trying to meet the ball halfway, decided to retreat, and a good play there by Cherry. Good decision making by the captain.
And that's quality form for Cherry. You can see that she was slow to even turn, but then she was able to accelerate fast enough to still beat Anna Weir. Weir was dribbling the whole time with the ball. She had enough time to potentially surpass Carson Cherry, but when you're playing against such a quality player that is Carson Cherry, she's going to be able to turn, be agile, and still sprint and win the ball back. Absolutely.
Every time Cherry seems to be making the right play. Weir now gets it down for Patchen in the corner. Patchen with a ball sent in, and and it bobbles around. Floyd has to fall on top of it. I was going to say an easy scoop up there for Aaron Floyd, but sometimes the ball has a little English on it, can create some trouble, and luckily for Louisville, Floyd is able to fall on it and remains 0-0.
And that's maybe a glimpse of what Patchen can do with this squad. She was able to get the ball down the line, turn, try to create a cross, and it's not necessarily the cross you think of. Most of these crosses that the Hokies have had has been to the back post, but because it was towards the front post, low, had a bounce with it, that made it difficult for Floyd to try and get a save.
You see Patchen there. An impact maker for this Hokie squad. We're just talking about the opportunity she could create from that far out, and Floyd, you know, we said trouble on that save, and putting shots on net, like you mentioned, just the right idea, making the keeper work, and you never know what can happen when you put shots on net. Cherry sends it in, looking for a header opportunity. The Hokies swarm that ball. Kylie Pete working against Ellie Robertson. Referee blows his whistle. Patchen again leading this team. Virginia Tech with 12 points. trying to find anything she can for her team. Almost did it moments ago. Now it's Louisville. Carson Cherry sends it in. Out comes Hargrove and diminishes any momentum for Louisville. Hargrove has been making all the right plays today. We saw a cross early in this match where Hargrove had to come out and dive for it, and now she's trying to orchestrate her team, get them sorted, but a big reason as to why it's still 0-0 today. Louisville, an opportunity, a good one-touch pass by Sudam, and an excellent save by Hargrove. It was Geigley with the redirection, and Hargrove making an excellent save. Tremendous by Hargrove.
You just talked about Hargrove's play all today. It was usually with a little bit of an easier save, but then you got to see her get a challenging shot, jump up, redirect it, and that's all you need from your goalkeeper in that space.
That had trouble written all over it for Virginia Tech, but Hargrove, Lauren Hargrove, the keeper in net today for the Hokies. Lockdown, corner now for Louisville, sent into the box. Hargrove again, tremendous stuff from the keeper.
And that play before was a fun and creative one by Louisville. You can tell they're maybe getting a little bit more into a rhythm in the attack, whether it's winning the ball on the high press and creating those opportunities, or just feeling a little bit more comfortable that they can play these creative flicks or one-touches in and around the box. But Hargrove is ready for everything and has done a really good job of making sure that Louisville does not get on the board or won't get on the board easily.
How exciting was that from Sudam? The one-touch pass, the little flick with her foot to get it to Geigley. It seemed like nobody was ready for it. Geigley was, just got under it a little bit, and you saw the frustration from Geigley again, thinking she should have had that one, but the bar she sets for herself is out of reach and maybe even out of sight. And it's the reason why she's so, so good for this Cardinal squad.
Yeah, that play with Sudam and Geigley, it kind of shows how this change into the second half might be a positive thing, putting Geigley more centrally up top and giving her the opportunities to try and shoot in and around the box. So far today, she's been the leading shot taker, and that's what you need when you have a striker and an attacker. And even more so, having multiple players in the box for a chance with Sudam and Geigley in that situation, that is what you need if you're going to try and score goals.
So we'll see if Louisville can replicate something similar. Maddox for the throw-in.
Maddox usually with a strong, long throw. Last one she did might not have been exactly the distance she would have wanted. She's wiping off the ball with all the sweat in order to try and get this one in the box.
And there's an excellent throw-in by Maddox. You mentioned the ability to get the ball so far and into the box. A potential strike there for Louisville, but just goes wide. Probably wasn't struck there by Pete as she intended. Kylie Pete, defender. Some fresh legs now for both squads. Jadoin comes off for Louisville. Corinna Pete in the game now for Liza Sudam. And Taylor Morris in now for Nicole Jadoin. Snyder for Louisville. He's back for it. Gets it back to Aaron Floyd. 3 saves today for Hargrove, 1 for Floyd. Mason Nelson in the match now for Peyton May. Siri Davis in for Madison Buteau. Some fresh legs for the Hokies. For the throw-in, it's Julia Tepes.
Number 12, Lily Pantaleo, replacing number 3, Anna Weir.
And now Pantaleo in the match now for the Hokies, taking the spot of Anna Weir.
Good defensive win there by Davis to try and create an attack.
Great defense there by Sexton as well, reading reading the body language of the Hokie players, assuming when the shot is coming and positioning herself to block it. Just elite level awareness there by Sexton. Cardinals trying to get into transition, find their way in. Working through the midfield now with it. Maddox has it, one-touch pass, another one from Pete. Gets it back to Maddox. Louisville exhibiting excellent ball movement. Swinarski has it, trying to work. Ball sent in, looking for Pete, but Hokies once again answer the call. Maddox has it.
Great early plays by Maddox there to one touch, move again, get open for another pass. It's exciting when you get a wide back who's willing to not only pass the ball well, but then move the ball into the midfield. And she had that, was able to get it to Swinarski for potentially a switch pass. And that might be what is needed from either team today, is one player who might not necessarily always look the part of the goal or shot that they create, but is able to in that moment and can create something magical.
Just under 20 minutes gone by here at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium in the second half. And if you're just joining us, it's been a deadlock, 0-0. Virginia Tech looking to break the deadlock now. An opportunity brewing perhaps. Louisville getting rid of it. Now Taylor Morris comes up with it. So 20 minutes gone in the second half. If you're just joining us, 0-0. Both teams finding opportunities, unable to convert. Kayla, what's your takeaway 20 minutes into the second half as opposed to the first half where we saw lots of opportunities, lots of physicality? What's different to you?
It definitely feels like in the first 10 minutes of this game, Louisville had a little bit of a different itch. They were going a little bit stronger, creating more opportunities in and around the goal. Mackenzie Geigley had a few that weren't necessarily her favorite shots, but she was at least testing Hargrove in a different scenario rather than what we saw in the first half. And since then, it's kind of...
Karina Pete with an excellent move as Kayla's in the middle of breaking it down for us. Pete almost gave us the moment.
Yeah,
what we've been looking for all day. An excellent strike.
A great shot by Pete there, finding the space in the middle or the wide side to be able to take just a little bit of a touch around Suri Davis right outside that wide post. If it had been a couple of centimeters nearer, Hargrove might not have even been able to save it. That was how well placed it was. And that is what I felt like we were missing the last 15 minutes, so, or maybe 10 minutes. So if the Cardinals can create that chance one or two more times, it's likely that one's gonna break through. The Hokies, on the other hand, have done well to mitigate, have done well to mostly keep the ball when they win it defensively, but then they can't create really anything strong in the attack. They don't have enough players, or they make the missed pass, for example, in that situation. It's just maybe the right idea, but hits a Louisville player rather than going to their intended target.
Brooklyn Lee, sophomore defender out of Tacoma, Washington, in the game now for the Louisville Cardinals. She takes the spot of Grace Maddox. Karen Ferguson days going to her bench, ever so deep, full of talented players. Brooklyn Lee, 2 assists against Kent State. A beautiful cross ball into the box that resulted in a goal. Had a shot of her own against Kent State in the match now for the Cardinals, looking to find anything. Louisville working. Fina Davey in the match for Louisville. Sophomore forward out of Delaware, Ohio. Gibson looking for Huckabee, taken away by Virginia Tech's Lily Pantaleo. Virginia Tech moving the ball well, looking for any opportunity. Pantaleo has to deal with Gibson and Pete. Ball sent back through the midfield now. Davey there. And now Patchen after it for Virginia Tech. Sends it up for herself. Sexton there, creating havoc for Patchen. Patchen looking to get aggressive. Sexton says, not if I can do something about it. 2 excellent players. Patchen on the side of Virginia Tech. Lizzie Sexton on the side of Louisville. both of these players have had their fingerprints all over so many wins for their team so far this season.
And today, now in the second half, we talked about Lizzie Sexton a couple of times earlier in the match with just being a strong defender and making sure that she's able to win the ball and attack. But Patchen coming into the conversation a little bit in the second half, which is what the Hokies are going to want to see when it comes to creating some more opportunities.
Mason Nelson sends it away. Ball bounces into the box. A header opportunity. Tech looking to make something happen. Louisville shuts it down for the time being. Tepes comes up with it, sent into the box. And that one will get out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for the Hokies.
A chipped free kick might not have been exactly the type of ball that you would want when you're kicking it from around the midpoint, but it bounced a few times in there and still created chaos, and that can create goals as well.
Through ball sent up now. Morris with an opportunity, a strike on net, and it just goes left. Made excellent run, excellent through ball. But the story of today has just been the inability to convert for both of these teams.
Great through ball by Pete. Speed on that wing side from Morris. Almost looked like Fina Davy could have been there
I was just thinking that.
if Morris had wanted to play a lateral ball just a little bit lighter. But I also understand when you're around the 18 and you've beat your defender trying to get a shot off on goal. So just a little bit more on frame, and the Cardinals might have the recipe they need in order to score.
What do you think of Hannah Patchen getting subbed out again with 20 minutes to go here in the second half? Maybe coach giving her a rest.
It could be that she subs back in. We know that in the college game, you can sub out and then sub back in once more before the end of the game. So
Ball into the box. Some trouble for both teams. Louisville looking for a conversion there, but Hargrove on top of it once again. That ball headed towards the post, but Hargrove sound today between the goalposts.
great save by Hargrove there, being able to keep it inbounds too as it was trickling out of bounds. A couple of chaotic moments even in that play. Might have been that Fina Davy was offside, but she was able to keep it in, pass it back. The fans were calling for a handball from a Hokie defender.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on.
Another through ball. Hargrove is there. But back to Hannah Patchen, you know, the impact player for these Hokies, and maybe Coach Adair saving her legs for maybe the last 10 minutes, maybe keeping her as fresh as possible. But the Hokies are now going to have to go a couple of minutes without Patchen out there, so they're going to have to find ways to get creative and score. Rest assured, though, this Hokie team, so capable. Snyder, sent up now. Pete gathers, finds Lee. Good defense there from Virginia Tech's Kendall D'Amelio. Quick throw in. Louisville wants to get right back to work. Ball sent deep into the corner for Morris, a potential opportunity. Louisville could convert. D'Amelio once again getting a foot on it, getting it out of harm's way. Sent into the corner now. And Morris will let it roll on.
Another great through ball to Taylor Morris, being able to get the ball into the space and really pick her head up and choose where she wanted to send that cross. Fina Davy had that first run in and around Lauren Hargrove, but Brooklyn Lee was making that secondary run, which is where Morris was trying to look for. A good chance for the Cardinals, but Virginia Tech and D'Amelio specifically did well to bat it out.
Morris comes off, gets a high five from her coach. Emersen Jennings in the match now, as is Amelia Swinarski, back on the pitch for the Cards. Emma Kate Schroll, number 26 for Louisville, back in the action. She has made multiple good impacts so far this season for the Cards, looking to make some more here as we approach the final 15.
And we talked about how in the first half there's a silver lining to being a sub and being able to see what's going on and what the benefits are. For Emersen Jennings, who's got speed and agility and can turn around and create opportunities with space, that is, having just been able to watch Taylor Morris create a couple of those chances on the same side should be something that she's itching to do, that she's hungry to try and recreate for herself.
Annie DeHaan also in for Julia Tepes on the side of Virginia Tech, as is Taylor Lewin for Taylor Price. So the Taylors swap places. There's Emersen Jennings. So good at that high pressure, being a pest. We've said that so many times this year. She makes it so hard on keepers. In moments that should be easy for keepers when they take their time, Jennings is there to make it hard.
And that's what Louisville's personality is. They're going to high press and win it in those situations. Emersen Jennings is a good example about how you can have success in those moments when you get to press a keeper, especially when they're not expecting it.
Louisville picks it up, moving through their attacking third. Swinarski got it to Davey, who makes a good move, takes some contact, goes down. Gathered up there by Ellie Robertson, who sends it all the way down into the midfield. Ellie Snyder there, 50-50 ball. Ball sent up. Cherry with a good play, not letting the ball advance, and now Schroll. Ball is sent over.
Good switch by Snyder there.
Pete sends it up, a through ball potentially. Hargrove comes out once again, and Louisville seems like they've just been getting so close all day on those through balls. But when you have a keeper like Hargrove in net for Virginia Tech, you're expecting her to come out and make all the right plays. She is fearless. She has shut down numerous opportunities for Louisville today.
And we talked about this also in the first half, but even in the second half, she's proven that she's the type of player to attack. She's going to be higher up in the box. She's going to try and win it with her feet if she has to outside of the box. And that's something that you want in your keeper. You want your keeper to feel comfortable enough that if they're in a place where you might have to use your feet or you might have to create or get into some contact, that you can do that and you can still win the ball. And Hargrove has proven that she's able to do that today.
Sexton trying to keep it away from de Guzman. De Guzman right on her hip. Sexton lives for absorbing that contact. She is not afraid of it. Over now for Lee. Slide tackle. It's an excellent play. Pete. One touch pass from Davey. Gets it to Huckabee. Huckabee scanning. Wisely retreats for the time being. Sexton. Ball sent up. Jennings doing what she does best. Throwing everything she has at these Hokie players, trying to find something for her team. As we near the final 10 minutes, still 0-0, a deadlock. You can feel the intensity ramping up here. An opportunity for Virginia Tech, and they find the back of the net for the first time with just under 14 minutes to play.
Looks like they might have called offsides on.
And it is offside, so that goal not going to count. Oh, and it's a heartbreaker for Virginia Tech as they find their opportunity in the offsides call. Beg your pardon, folks.
Possible offsides on Lily Pantaleo. It might have been. We'll see it.
A game of inches. And they will go to video review. Beg your pardon on the goal call, folks. Offsides was the call. So it remains 0-0, despite we talked about the intensity ramping up and the excitement was brewing, and we thought we had a goal as the ball was in the back of the net, but.
And it will be interesting to see what the referee decides here. If that's the only angle they have, it may be that the referee does not have enough evidence to prove otherwise, that Pantaleo was onside. In which case, because he called an offside call first, that's how they continue to play. But if you're asking me, and I just reviewed that angle, it almost looked like Pantaleo was onside.
Get another look for you here. Boy, that's close. What do you think, Kayla? I can see you trying to analyze your monitor. It's a tough one.
Both of these angles are really difficult. In that angle, you could see a little bit more of an actual line, but that too might not be enough for the referee to turn around and call it a goal.
Here comes the official. So the call remains. Coach Adair for Virginia Tech pleading his case to the officials. Show it to you one more time here. Pantaleo just offsides by a hair. The officials went to review. So it remains 0-0, despite the excitement, despite the ball going into the back of the net. Officials look it over, call offsides, and we stay 0-0 here in Louisville.
And while the fans at home might be looking at this game thinking that Louisville's had more opportunities in and around the frame, Virginia Tech is showing that they can create some opportunities too, especially in that offsides call. Natalie Mitchell dribbled half the field on her own, was able to pass it to Pantaleo, get the ball back around the 6, and then she was the one who finished that. So when you see these individual performers creating these types of opportunities, it's something that the Cardinals are really going to want to be mindful of as it gets tiring towards the end of the second half.
Virginia Tech for the corner, see if they can convert. Ball sent in deep to the back post, a header opportunity. Stays with Virginia Tech. Louisville looking for the clear. Corinna Pete comes up with it. She'll get it back, but loses possession now. It's Virginia Tech staying on the attack. Mitchell could send it in, does so. Header opportunity, lots of contact inside the 6. Floyd is all the way out for it, and will wisely boom it away into the midfield. Kayla, what are you seeing here as we approach the last 12 minutes?
The chaos has begun. You can tell Virginia Tech's itching for that goal now that they had the experience of creating something, getting a foul called for in their favor just then. There's some intensity brewing, and if Louisville's going to want to mitigate the goal or even try and score one themselves, they're going to have to ride this wave of being able to connect the ball, win it back, keep possession, look forward, or else the Hokies in this case look like they're creating some serious opportunities.
Yeah, and despite the fact that that last, what we thought to be goal got waved off because of offsides, there's something to take away there as a yellow card gets called on Louisville's Emma Kate Schroll. But there's something to be said, something to note on both sides. If you're Louisville, they created an opportunity. They did technically convert minus the offsides. So if you're Virginia Tech, there's something there.
Exactly. And when you're a player on that team and you felt the little taste of that opportunity, it's really easy to think and to know that you can score again. And that's what the Hokies are experiencing right now, making some additional subs here soon for both teams to try and get that final push and create something.
20 combined fouls today, folks. 11 from Virginia Tech, 9 for Louisville. It has been physical in every aspect of the word. The intensity absolutely ramping up as we approach the final 10 minutes. Still 0-0. Both these teams can smell blood in the water. An opportunity maybe coming for Louisville. Emersen Jennings has it. Blows past her defender. And DeHaan. But DeHaan buckles down. Kills the momentum. Anna Weir back in the match now for Virginia Tech. Off comes Natalie Mitchell. Geigley back in the match now for Louisville. Liza Sudan back in the match now for the Cards. Off comes Fina Davey and Emma Kate Schroll. Patchen still off the pitch for Virginia Tech. You got to think maybe here pretty soon in the next few minutes, Coach Adair might go to her on his bench and get her back in the match.
There is something to be said, though, about the subs in the Hokie lineup that have just gone in and also have been playing this whole game pretty well. There's been some attacking chances up top for them already. It could be that Adair feels as if something's happening with this lineup.
Lee settles it down, finds Cherry, looking for Jennings. Ferguson Days trying to get her team fired up. As Patchen looks on, getting high fives from her teammates. Moving down towards the end of the bench, taking off the warm-up. And you know what this is spelling out for Virginia Tech. They're going to go back to Patchen here in a few minutes, it seems.
Both teams at this point in time are going to want to put in the players that they think can help create a chance, score a goal, win the game for them. The Cardinals have a handful of those players. Hokies as well, but it's always understandable to go to with the tried and true.
Here comes Louisville. Still looking for the first goal of the match. Sudan into the box. An opportunity for Louisville, cleared out by Virginia Tech. Picked up now by Weir. Has Brooklyn Lee right on her hip. Ball sent in, settled down by Carson Cherry. Liza Sudan has Jennings to her right. Geigley with her as well. Through ball for Emersen Jennings. This could be the chance for Louisville. Breaking the deadlock, and Emersen Jennings finds the goal. Marvelous stuff from the Louisville Cardinals, hanging through the physicality and the toughness. An excellent through ball, an excellent strike, and it's Louisville finding the first goal in the 82nd minute. Emersen Jennings, sensational.
Liza Sudan there dribbling, taking a well-weighted through ball so Emersen Jennings could run to the middle of the field rather than being wide. She wins that and gets just a fantastic shot. Hargrove has done so well this whole game, but really had nothing that she could do any differently there. Jennings and Sudan, that combination is quality.
Louisville bench loving every second of it. You said it, Sudan and Jennings, a lethal duo. And a note that I was just reading, Kayla, 3 times this season, the Hokies have conceded a goal in the final 5 minutes. No, we're not in the final 5 minutes. We are in the final 10 minutes, and we've just seen the Hokies concede a goal. So a little characteristic of maybe the Hokies struggling to close the door on some of these matches, conceding goals in the final minutes. They concede one there. Emersen Jennings from a lovely through ball by Liza Sudan, getting the Cards on the board, and 8 minutes to go. Virginia Tech has to respond.
And right before that final play, I was going to mention that it felt like both teams were playing a little bit more transitional, trying to take stronger dribbles, looking for maybe that long ball quicker rather than what we had seen earlier where it was maybe slow and super mindful. It felt a little bit more quick, and for the Cardinals in that situation, they were able to get a goal out of it. If the Hokies are able to keep possession and still look in that transitional mindset, they might be able to find opportunities like the offside call that they had earlier instead of it just being onside.
Here comes Virginia Tech. Recognizing now they're down 1-0. They're going to have to find the equalizer. A ball sent through, an opportunity for Patchen. Who else would it be? What an excellent slide tackling play breaking. Kylie Pete, a sensational play on defense, saving the equalizer, maybe the play of the day. Kayla, aside from the goal we just saw from Jennings, Patchen was ready to put that one past Floyd.
A great position for Patchen to be in. A risky choice for Pete to try and slide in to win that ball back, but she really felt like she had no other option and was able to only get ball. That's a really hard thing to do in that situation. Usually, well, not usually, but it's likely that you clip a leg, and she did a great job of just getting the ball and clearing it out.
Yellow card issued to Virginia Tech. Anna Weir, number 3, gets the yellow.
Virginia Tech's no stranger to ties. They likely are looking for something like that, if not the win in this setting.
Patchen sends it in. Floyd bats it away. Good play by Floyd to keep it out of the back of the net. Suddam is going to pick it up now on foot race between her and Tepes. So, Kayla, I want to ask you now. Louisville finds the first goal of the match in the 82nd minute. Just over 6 minutes to play. Back on now is Jadoin. Off comes the lone goal scorer, and Emersen Jennings comes off the pitch to a well-earned applause, a high five from her coaching staff, and more to come from her teammates. A water break. Kayla, back to what I was saying, I wanted to ask you, Louisville finds the lead now late in this one. What do the last 6 minutes look like from Louisville? Do you take your foot off the aggression gas in the attacking third? Do you just focus on defense? What's it going to look like?
I think if I were Coach Ferguson days, I wouldn't want to take the foot off the gas in any aspect. They've done well to be able to win the ball back when they press high. They've done well to be able to score a goal when they create those types of through ball opportunities. If you do put your foot off the gas, you change the momentum that you're creating. So in this case, if it were me, I would want them to keep pressure, keep the intensity, and maybe in that sub with Jadoin and Jennings, that's an example of it. Jennings worked so hard right there to win the ball back, try and create a chance. Jadoin, now rested, has the chance to come in and work just as hard, and you're going to need that if you want to keep the intensity high.
Weir just obtained the yellow, sends it through, looking for an opportunity. Nobody home for Tech, and a lot of contact there. Mackenzie Geigley went down for Louisville. Geigley a little shaken up on the play, training staff out to check on her. Louisville sideline, looking on. Geigley tied for the team lead with goals scored. I mean, you can't say enough about Mackenzie Geigley and what she means to this team on the field and off the field. Just a leader through and through. Her head coach out there.
Geigley and Davis going up for that 50-50 ball. It, like you just said, you can't say enough about Geigley. Siri Davis is 5'10", and Geigley jumping up to try and create some opportunities to win that ball. Getting more of the head of Siri Davis rather than maybe the ball just still shows the tenacity and grit that she has, and arguably what the rest of this Louisville team has as well.
You saw the great sportsmanship there between Geigley and Davis. Geigley going over, and Davis saying, you know, that wasn't intentional. Of course, it's just a play on the ball. That physicality, part of this game, but so great to see Geigley and Davis have a moment there. Are you okay? Are you okay? Geigley got to her feet. So tough. Doesn't do it justice. So play resumes. Just under 5 minutes to play now here in Louisville.
Swinarski double teamed there. The Hokies know that if they're going to try and get the ball back from her, they're likely going to need 2 players instead of just 1.
Ball rolls out of bounds. It'll stay with Virginia Tech. Now a ball sent through the midfield. Nicole Jadoin trying to cut it off. Does so for the time being, and now she does. Grace Maddox comes up with it, and now for Sudam. Louisville could make run here on transition. Sudam has Jadoin with her. Fina Davy also with her. Sudam still with it. Trying to create space. Into the corner she goes. Sudam still working. Trapped herself into a corner, trying to work out of it. Patchen comes in for the double defense. They send 2 defenders after Sudam, and the ball now goes out, and it will stay with Louisville. So an excellent play by Sudam, forcing Virginia Tech to send 2 defenders, and they keep the ball. Just under 4 to play here in Louisville.
And Maddox is going to play short. They want to be in that corner because it wastes time when you're up 1-0. When you think of Maddox, you think of that long ball throw, but in this case, she's going to go as short as possible to try and just keep possession, make them kick the ball out, and you get the ball back.
And you just saw the note over the shot of Hargrove. 3 times this season, the Hokies have conceded goals in the final 5 minutes. We are in that window now, just over 3 minutes to play, but they concede that goal in the 8th minute. It's going to be enough for Coach Adair to look back at film and see how they can close the door on some of these matches.
Great tackle by Carson Cherry. Good dribbling by Anna Weir. This whole match, Weir's been done really well to be able to keep the ball and be creative in the attack. Just hasn't been able to get a goal off of it.
And we'll see if Louisville can follow suit of the 5-minute window. Maybe able to find another one. 2 minutes, 44 seconds remain. Time ticking away for the Hokies. Louisville, we get a stoppage. Louisville on the cusp of their first ACC win of the season. Came up short against a very, very talented Florida State team on Thursday, and now 2 minutes away from an ACC victory here against the Hokies. Not just their first ACC win, but also today with a victory, Louisville would maintain a perfect record at home this season. Yet to have dropped a match at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium. 2 minutes away from keeping that true. Off comes Fina Davy. Geigley back on the pitch now. Just toughness, grit, tenacity. I mean, we could say it 100 times and we'd still never do it enough justice. She is absolutely fearless, selfless, giving her team every little ounce that she has. Louisville playing the corner game, trying to keep it away. As you were talking about, Kayla, trying to make Tech kick it out of bounds, keep possession. The ball will roll down now. Coach Adair stops it for his team.
Patchen does well to get it out of there in that situation. It's a difficult ask to be able to win the ball back and then also make sure that you clear it in the direction of your own teammates.
Jadoin and crew in the last 90 seconds. Swinarski comes up with it, has Sudam with her and Geigley, along with Jadoin. Pete and Gibson trying to catch up. A takeaway by Virginia Tech, and this could be an opportunity as Virginia Tech is making their way through midfield. A through ball now. Just over a minute to play. Ball gets redirected, and boy, Kayla, I just saw your reaction as I looked over at you. That could have been disastrous for Louisville.
That ball won by Ellie Robertson in the back, dribbled forward, a strong switch to Taylor Lewin, and she had the right idea to try and make a cross. It bounced off, looked like Carson Cherry in the box, and could have been a more serious deflection into an own goal. So the Cardinals are lucky that Aaron Floyd was ready to win that, and the deflection wasn't too powerful.
Virginia Tech not done yet. 38 seconds to go. Louisville has to be perfect on this defensive stand. On the cusp of a 1-0 victory. Jadoin gets it away, 30 seconds to go. Virginia Tech has to hurry up, they know that. Throw in. Tepes had it, lost it, sent down into the midfield. Hargrove playing into the midfield, just going to send it in for one last prayer. Can the Hokies find the equalizer? Floyd comes out to get it, falls on top of it, 6 seconds left. That's going to do it. The Louisville Cardinals claim their first ACC victory by a final score of 1-0. Emersen Jennings